Good afternoon and welcome to the eLECtric Recap, the show where we talk about everything LEC related.
I'm MaskedSwan, your resident analyst, and something inside me. eLECtric la la da 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 da.
Lexi,
Yeah,
XL didn't go 3-0 in the final week.
but they won games. What do you mean?
We talked about this last week. They won 2. They beat G2 and Rogue, and
Yeah,
then they lost.
let's just talk
Just
about the
like
other
Misfits.
British team.
Yeah, Fnatic. Okay, yeah, Fnatic. For those of you who don't know, eLECtric Recap. We're into playoffs. 6 teams left. Fnatic, SK, Rogue, G2, Mad Lions, and a Schalke. Dastardly Schalke knocking out Misfits. I will never forgive you. Urusine. What did I say? Urusei. There we go. Either way, our first game of playoffs was Fnatic versus SK. And stakes were high, MaskedSwan, because whichever team lost would be out of playoffs forever. Not just for spring 2021, but for summer and for 2022.
I didn't realize they were selling their spot with this loss. That is putting all the nuggets on the line, and they went for it. And well, first off, Milky, we got triple cast again. That was fun. Let's talk about that. That's the more important part. No. The game, obviously, game number 1 went in Fnatic's favor. It was a very bloody game. 6 to 7 kills for like every team fight. Everything was extended. Fnatic were able to get ahead on the kills, the dragons, but besides that, they had the vision control to go for the Baron, to kill it, and then they were able to peel off. Obviously, everybody's seen the clip of Niski landing that 4-man shockwave, getting 3k damage in that game. And since after that one, it was a relatively straightforward win for Fnatic, and that game 1 was probably the most contested, highly, like both teams really going for everything.
And honestly, I was surprised. Genax got his Aatrox, but it wasn't enough. I thought, okay, Genax has got Aatrox, GG, well played. It doesn't matter. Man was able to go 5 and 4, but it just wasn't enough at the end of the day.
I mean, game 2 was kind of a similar story to game 1. Obviously, this was a game that Fnatic should have won. They were at one point, I believe, about 3 to 4k gold ahead. They had the objective advantage. It looked great, but some late game mistakes from Fnatic allowed SK to overturn and actually outplay them. And then they opened up the Fnatic base and went for the win. It was a really well played game. And I have to shout out one member of SK in particular for this game. Blue was in and out, up and down, was really setting up a lot of it. Jinax as well.
And I mean, Genax on that Gnar, he found some crazy Gnar rolls, almost Armor-esque, and it was a good enough a performance to see SK take that game 2. But then heading on into game 3, Fnatic for the 3rd time in a row on the blue side, unable to secure the win.
Well, I mean, I can kind of sum this up with, this is the cleanest game of the series. Fnatic with a few decent plays, few decent catches, and a little woman who I've been hyping up for multiple weeks at this point finally enters the battlefield, entered the brawl, entered play. I can't remember what Smash players do now, but Karma top was seen from Bwipo, and it caused huge issues for the side of SK.
Trust you, MaskedSwan, to get a game where Akali mid gets played and you to talk about a Karma top.
Yeah, I mean, Karma top was the far more interesting part of this series, not the Akali, because we see it a second time round in game number 4 for Fnatic, and SK played really well catch up in a few spots, but and they punished the over-aggression from Fnatic, which is something that actually Bwipo brought up in their interview, in the post-game interview, because Fnatic do win this series 3-1. And this game is a really good example of Jinax turning ganks on that when it was self-made and upset going down there. He was like, "Oh, we just got soul point off this Cloud Soul. Not a great soul, but hey, it's something, right?" They go down, they try and kill him, and then he 2v1 wins the fight, kills upset, and then self-made's like, let's run. that's not really how everything goes. Upset and Niski are able to hold the door from the assault from SK, and then they turn it, and it's a huge team fight. And honestly, Game 4's last 10 minutes is some of the most exciting games of League of Legends I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it was an entertaining game, and SK were ahead. They couldn't quite clean it out in the end. The base defense that came through from, I believe it was a Niski and Upset, proved to be critical for Fnatic to end things right at Game 4. Otherwise, who knows what could have happened in a potential Game 5. Either way, Fnatic progress, and Fnatic's rating out of 10, chances of making it further through playoffs.
A little bit of a sweat mark should be going down Fnatic. Like, it's not perfect. If they were anime characters, they'd have a little bit of sweat. It's not
Right.
huge, but it's not perfect. I was expecting this honestly to be a 3-0 comfortable sweep from Fnatic. The fact that SK was showing so much pushback is great from the side of SK. Obviously, it shows a lot of promise. And it wouldn't be surprising if maybe we could see them again in the future. Maybe going a bit further.
Maybe. We'll see when Summer Split rolls around. Either way, SK are out of playoffs. Fnatic will be advancing to round 2, which leaves us with our second playoffs game of round 1. G2 against Schalke. And come on, G2 versus Schalke, right? Clean 3-0, right? Right?
Uh, Closest series out of all of them, right? Full
Somehow,
5 games.
I mean, G2 was 2-0 after the first 2 games. And okay, they weren't, stomped, but it looked pretty good for G2.
I mean, game 1 was a stomp. You can kind of chalk it up to early game, Schalke having a decent early game, but they've always had a decent early game. I remember way back when they were actually winning a lot of their games. No offense, Schalke. But when they were on that streak, when they were dominating everyone, it was through their early game. So it made sense that Schalke have an okay to half decent early game, but G2's just better map rotation and matching a lot of the time. Also, Reckless showed up incredibly huge. There's a reason he got MVP in this series. But the other thing to note is Upset also did get MVP of the series, just slightly different this time around. Reckless obviously performed really well in game number 1. It was kind of a stomp, and I'm not going to focus too much on it because it was kind of G2 going through the motions. It was a 27-minute game, 11-5. Standard G2 affair. Game number 2, though, went a little bit differently, Milky. It was significantly closer.
It was significantly closer. But then again, I look over to certain stats, and seeing Reckless being 16 and 2 on the Ash is one, or I should say 2 numbers that really do stand out.
Yeah, Reckless had an incredible performance in this one. Yankos was able to kind of really play bodyguard for a lot of time for Reckless. The fact that we were able to see Ash and Braum as a duo once again, it really worked very well. They were able to get first blood onto limit. Neon looked very kind of pushed out of the lane in a lot of spots. And half of this game was just the whole side of G2 playing protect Ash and we should win. And it's exactly how the game went. It took a bit longer, and there were definitely more opportunities for Schalke, but I never truly believed that Schalke were going to find the opportunity in this game.
But then, when we go over to game 3, it was close. And it looked, for a split second, like G2 may take it. But then, a certain person decided to step up. Once again.
I mean, a former top laner of NA came back to EU and picked his Darius. Okay, Darius. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Darius. He had played it previously in the series. He played it in game 2, and it looked okay. Game 3 is where he is able to get a pentakill. Broken Blade gets a pentakill in this series versus G2 Esports. Not many people can say they've ever pentakilled G2, and especially this lineup, which is looking to be definitely looking forward towards summer, the best version of G2 maybe ever? Question mark. We'll have to wait and see on their performances. But honestly, this game can just be chalked down to Schalke stomping G2. It took them a bit longer, but they got the pentakill.
Yeah, did. And once again, Broken Blade picking up the penta, just like he did actually earlier on in the season on the Renekton. I guess I want to say Misfits or SK. I can't remember which. Either way, it made me sad. But penta do be penta. Moving on then to game 4. And Broken Blade was like, oh, you leave Darius open again? I'll pick Darius again.
Yeah, this game was partly just Broken Blade instead of being the crazy kill player this game. I would argue that this was actually Abadage's kind of breakout performance in this
Fakadage.
series. It was very much Fakadage. G2 could have won this game. The dive that they did
Yeah.
at 19 minutes, where they just went between the turrets, it very much felt like Fnatic were just trying to force the win in a way.
Fnatic?
G2 rather. It felt like Fnatic
I
because of
see.
some of the
Yeah, it
plays.
felt like Fnatic.
With the aggression that came through, but G2 could not replicate the perfect aggression of Fnatic, and sadly, a bunch of the mistakes actually ended up for Fakadage finding more wins. The fact that they were able to steal the Baron,
Yeah.
I don't know. And to be honest, the fact that Abadage was playing out his mind, he was able to ult Reckless and Caps in that late game. Just so much.
I mean, for me, that game kind of came down to the fact that G2, they were on Ocean Soul Point twice. And both the times, Gilius was able to steal it away. One time, Gilius stole it when he didn't even have Smite up, which is the kind of more insane thing. And if G2 had gotten any of those Drakes, I personally don't think it would have gone to a game 5. But as it is, it did go to a game 5. And to everyone's shock, G2 lost and they're down into the lower bracket, right?
No, and I'm going to tell you why. A champion that has only been banned 4 times has not been picked anywhere near enough during these series, and this was the game to really bring it out. Seraphine, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in LEC playoffs, if you are in EU Masters play-ins, if you are in any form of tournament, if you are playing anything, just play Seraphine at the moment. She's giga broken. You'll win everything. It's done. Just watch what Reckless did. You have to scale, and then you'll win every team fight. Just get to 30 minutes on. Oh, G2 obviously did it, and it worked really well.
So, what do you think's better? Final thought then: is Reckless's Soraka better, or is it his Seraphine?
Seraphine.
Cool. And on that note, we move on to our next series: Rogue taking on Mad Lions. And this was a series that I was most excited to see coming into playoffs. Two of, well, in my opinion, the second and third best teams in the league, and I think closely so. But game 1, well, Rogue made it not look like it was very close.
Well, it kind of went as we all expected a few of these games to go. We expected Rogue to look very dominant, very confident, and it felt like it. Larson was pulling off insane Sarima shuffles. Han Summer looked unstoppable with this Senna Shogath bot lane, which has been seen before, but it was kind of this dark technology. I don't think it's as good as the Scion. I don't think it's as good as Tom Kench, but this is something that they really want to do, and hey, it worked out really well in this game. The fact that you have Larson kind of looking as good as Caps does help a lot, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think Larson has been looking incredible all season, as has Hansama, and this was the only series as well where throughout the entirety of the series, one team was always on the same side, Rogue being on blue side for all of their games. I won't say exactly how many games it was yet, as we'll move to our second game. Rogue on blue side, they went with that Senna Cho'Gath again, but this time not as effective as it was in game
1. Kaiser is a god. Bold statements are always a tried and true statement. No, it's not. It's not even that controversial. This man is an absolute legend. The fact that Armut was able to play his Wukong, that's a pocket pick, that's a comfort pick a little bit for him. He had a stellar performance, getting himself off the Malphite. It's like
better than Broken Blade Wukong.
Significantly better.
I'm sorry.
And this was just a performance. Like, we saw Predator Volibear coming out to really emphasize for El Yoya. Like, this was just a really well played game, and how convincing it felt from Rogue in game number 1 is the opposite of how game number 2 went. Mad Lions felt confident, felt like in the driver's seat, and Kaiser and Kazi really showed why they were the premier bot lane last split, and they're proving it again this split.
So, Mad Lions in the driver's seat, then jumping on into game 3. Changing gears then, from first, did they end up going up into second, or did they go down into reverse?
So, Baker Darge was one thing. We saw Niski have insane ultimates on Orianna. The mid lane pool is stacked, Milky. Humanoid was landing absurd amounts of control. And this was a really interesting game because Kazi actually kind of had a step back in this game until the late game where he actually was able to turn on this Vayne. Humanoid went 7-0 and 9. Eloya went 6-0 and 11. Armut went 3-1 and 14. Like, and Kaiser went 2-1 and 17. Like, Mad Lions just kind of schooled Rogue in a 28-minute stomp.
And that's exactly what it was. A complete and utter stomp. 7 deaths, and actually 5 of those deaths were on a Kazi, actually, who went 5-5 and 9 on the Vayne. But then again, it doesn't matter how many times you kill a Vayne, they're still going to get really, really strong at some point. So it all came down to a game 4. Rogue backs against the wall, but we know how good they are. And Rogue started it absolutely fantastic.
They did. This was a game that looked like it was actually going to be Rogues to win, or it was Rogues to lose. It's a funny one. The mid and early game is actually very much in their favor. Odo is playing around the map a little bit. He's dying to Armut a little bit, but it's kind of it's okay. It's okay. Handsummer's getting kills. Trimby is definitely setting up for him. Larson, they're playing this double AD carry comp. They've got the Aphelios Thresh lane. It feels like this is theirs to win.
Yeah.
The issue is one huge team fight happens back to back, and both of them, and this is with Rogue having a 5k gold lead. Mad Lions, those mad lads, figured it out and were able to secure that Baron. And with the Baron secure, the match.
And the series.
It was just incredible. Like, I'd never expected Rogue to actually lose this series. I never thought it would happen. And the fact that Rogue and Mad, both teams showed up. Mad obviously won this series, but Rogue didn't roll over.
This felt to me the complete reversal of the Rogue Mad Lions game at the end of Spring Split.
Yes, I would agree.
So, with that, Rogue dropped down into the losers bracket. Mad Lions are the first team to advance to second team to advance to the semi-finals. We've done all the games.
That's it. That's all she wrote.
Hang on. Well, gosh, would you look at it?
You're gonna do the meme. Commit to it.
So, MaskedSwan, second round of playoffs. Schalke versus Fnatic. Thoughts?
All right. Well, Schalke showed far more promise than I was expecting. And if this is Schalke, the fact that Schalke almost reverse sweeped G2 can't be underlooked. You have to give them credit where they deserve it. And I would definitely argue that there's a chance that Schalke win this one. It's small. I still favor Fnatic. I am going like 70-30 Fnatic. But there is a world where we roll the 30% and it just comes up and I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised. I never fully committed to Fnatic.
Fair.
What about you?
I don't know. I think I agree with you. Schalke have looked good against G2 and they show promise in the sense that maybe they could beat Fnatic, but at the same time, I think Fnatic have also looked pretty good and no huge mistakes anyway against SK. You know what? I'm going to go with Schalke. I'll jump on the other side of the fence, and I'm going to say Schalke take down Fnatic. Devil's advocate. Yes, I'm playing devil's advocate, but also at the same time, I'm not entire. I don't know. I'll stick with Schalke though. Let's look over to G2 Mad Lions.
Yeah, I mean, this is a match that's obviously going to happen a little bit after. So I'm gonna. Oh God, how do I predict this one? I have to.
Meeny, miny, mo.
It does feel a little bit like that because G2's performance in their series versus Schalke was fine at the beginning and then really fell off, and thankfully Reckless and Seraphine were there to save the day for them. But Mad Lions looked really good, and Armut in particular, that rookie player that has come in for the first time, is not looking like a rookie at all. I do expect to get though against Wonder that he's going to struggle a bit, so I'm going to go G2.
Okay.
But if Mad Lions win, I'm actually going to go slightly higher with my win rate. I actually think G2 wins 75% of the time. I'm only giving 25% to Mad Lions. But if they win it, it's because of Armu.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with you. I think Mad Lions rookies haven't looked like rookies. I mean, then again, let's not forget Armor is a player who's played on the world stage. Elyoya is,
Twice.
the only true rookie, and Elyoya has been one of the best
Yeah.
players of the split, in my opinion. Arguably best jungler of the split as well, I'd say.
Up there, yeah.
So I think G2 will take it just because you can't bet against G2, I feel. But
Agreed.
I think there is a chance that Mad Lions take it just like they did against Rogue with the kind of performance they showed in game 4 of that series to come back from such a deficit. Mad Lions no longer look like the team that when they have a goal lead, they can squander it. So the only thing that's left is round 3. So Rogue against the winner of Schalke Fnatic.
I'm just going Rogue.
Rogue,
I
yeah.
just think it's always fair to just side with Rogue. I don't unless either Schalke or Fnatic 3-0 the other. That's where I might change my results on Twitter.
Okay. Follow
So
us
check me out on
Twitter. See
Twitter.
that?
Yeah, both of us will be probably live tweeting these ones. Check us out. But I will
I'll
probably
just
be
be retweeting his stuff.
probably, yeah. It's easier that way.
Yeah.
Free content. But I will probably just side with Rogue. And then it really comes down to figuring out where we want to go with our expectations, and we'll have a re-recording, so we'll get to predict the winners after that.
Yeah. 3 games are coming this weekend. G2 Mad Lions, Schalke Fnatic, and Rogue against the winner of Schalke Fnatic. And then we'll be having the next round of the eLECtric recap. But before we end, it's time for the meta recap. It's time for the meta recap. I don't know if I want to do a song. Our first contestant for the meta recap, hot or not, Akali mid.
I knew you were gonna bring her up. Like, yeah, Blue lost on her. Like,
Yeah, but
like
she's got like cool tattoos and stuff.
I mean, I don't really like Akali as a champion anyway. So yeah, Blue played her. I think she's fine in the meta at the moment. So Akali operates in a really weird spot right now. Like, she gets good skins, but the champion is Akali. And she's like LeBlanc. She's an AP assassin, so I'm not a fan of her. So no dice. Cold.
Okay. I mean, I think we're in agreement that the best of Blue is our graphics designer, Blue Wolf. But we're going to move on to
Agreed.
our second hot or not contestant, Cho'Gath support.
Asterisk. Fasting Senna. Farming Cho'Gath. Sure, it was Trimby, so it is the support player playing it. And
He's supporting the Senna. The Senna is not supporting the Cho'Gath.
I would argue that Senna more supports the Cho'Gath. I would rather say that. What's wrong with an ADC supporting their supporting their the support for what? And anyway, as I already mentioned, I think there are better options to play in this circumstance. We actually saw the pick get cracked, so that makes it a little bit less hot, but Gentleman Cho'Gath is always hot, so if you have the right skin, you're always hot, ladies and gentlemen.
Gentleman Nah.
I can concede to that one. I'll concede to that.
Okay. Now coming through in the ADC role, Seraphine.
Yeah. The champion's broken. Why would I not? I even championed it, right? Like Seraphine needs to be picked or banned 100%. The fact that Hecarim has that, but Seraphine doesn't, just mental booms me so much.
In fact, rumor has it Seraphine is too hot to even appear on the screen. It would melt your eyes away if you saw a Seraphine. Honestly, make sure you don't allow a Seraphine into your game.
Here. She's right here.
Wait.
Editing's an amazing thing, Milky Cereal.
Oh, yes.
You look like an idiot.
Yes. Oh, no, wait. No, it's right there. Can we get like a little Seraphine to like pop up? Like, just like a little... Okay. Moving
Who's the
on
next
then.
one?
Actually a top laner, Darius.
Um, This is a pocket pick. This is a pick that somebody likes to play. This is Broken Blade going, hey, this is one of my favorite champions. I have to deal with this in once over in the LJL, who's the exact same way. And I'm glad that they're no longer in play-ins because now I don't have to worry about that pick potentially coming up here. Darius is fine. He's fine. He got a pentakill, so he's hot. I have to give it. If I don't give Darius like a hot rating, someone's gonna at me on Twitter. So hot.
Okay. Now, as you know, with every single hot or not, we introduce an actual person in because it makes things cool. So for this week, we couldn't get a drawing because we couldn't get an actual picture because it'd be too hot. So I made a little drawing. It's our producer, Reed.
Yeah, hot,
Hot.
of course. He has a cat as well that occasionally gets to
He
shown on
has a cat.
webcam. Like, he just by default is hot. He's hotter than all these champions. Right? What do you want from me?
Yeah, Reed, hot. Also because he's going to put that little Seraphine picture over there.
No.
Anyway, this has been the hot or not segment of the eLECtric recap. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. We'll be back next week for more eLECtric recap, more playoffs action, and to find out how badly G2 lose to Mad Lions. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week.